As a young entrepreneur, I had the hardest time figuring out who I should actually be listening to, because there's so much noise out there. And there are a lot of people that will take the microphone if you give it to them. And so many of them sound very, very convincing. And it's difficult to know who's right, who's wrong, especially when information conflicts. So I have a framework. It's a 2-part framework for you in terms of determining who you're going to listen to. Part number 1 is ask yourself, what are their proven and demonstrable outcomes? This is really important because a lot of people use glitz and glam and smoke and mirrors in order to pretend there's something they're not. So this is the, Instagram selfie in front of the San Diego beach house after having driven up in the Ferrari. I want to be careful about being too aggressive in my shaming of that behavior. And I think it's shameful. You have these people, and I know a lot of them, God bless their souls, God bless their hearts. That's a $2,000 investment to get a beach house on Airbnb in their off season and to go Turo or Ferrari for an hour. That's not a demonstrable outcome. Let's say they actually bought the damn thing. That's still not a demonstrable outcome, because it's like, well, where'd you get the money? Did you earn it? Did you steal it? Did you inherit it? What are their proven and demonstrable outcomes? That's why I start all my videos the same way. Incidentally, I've built $6 million and multi-million-dollar businesses with 30% margins or more. I don't think I have a single business that doesn't have at least 20% margins, which is important because gross revenue is a vanity metric, right? You can build $1 million gross revenue business by spending $999,000 in ads, or by spending $1.2 million in ads. I've known those people too. I've built $6 million and multi-million-dollar businesses. I've had 2 successful exits, 1 for 8 figures. I've generated a $10,000,000 net worth. And some people hear that and like, golly, Casa, why don't you don't have to lay it on so thick. And I think that's important because I remember being a young entrepreneur and people wouldn't talk about money. And if you even got close to asking, it was a really uncomfortable conversation, which I understand in polite circles why you're not allowed to ask the person next to you at the dinner table what they make. But if somebody hops on stage or shoots a YouTube video or starts posting on Instagram and basically is effectively saying, follow me, look, I figured out, I cracked a code, follow me. I want to know, well, wait a minute, before I follow you, where are we going? What is it that you've accomplished that I'm following you towards? And if it's smoke and mirrors and glitz and glam and Turoed Ferraris and Airbnb beach houses, I don't want that. I want cash. Now, maybe you want the attention, right? Like what they're getting is attention and they're doing really well. And so maybe they are the person to follow, but just make sure you understand demonstrable outcomes. Incidentally, if you're a creator, I think you need to hold yourself to this standard. If you're going to teach people how to be fit, you have to be fit. If you're going to teach people how to be healthy, you have to be healthy. If you're going to teach people how to make money, you have to have money. And show me your freaking tax returns. I'll subject myself to an audit. You could get any one of the big 5 accounting firms as long as you paid for it. That's my criteria. You pay for it, and then I get to use it as content on my socials because that'll be great content fodder. Like you can go through, I don't even include business valuations in my net worth calculation, which I think would double or triple it. But it's just such an unfair thing to do because you don't know what a business is worth until somebody's actually want to buy it from you. So what are their demonstrable outcomes? What have they actually accomplished that they can show you, that they can prove? And be willing to call them to the table on it. If somebody's trying to teach, and that's the other thing too. If you are a young entrepreneur and you're like, well, gosh, I haven't done that yet. That's okay. Show people what you have done. Hey, look at all these leads I was able to generate. Like I actually did that. I ran these ads and I generated these leads. I can show you how I did this, or, look at my high ticket close rate, or look at my whatever. So don't worry if you haven't made the millions yet. That's okay. That doesn't mean that you can't move towards some level of thought leadership or authority, but just be honest about what it is that you have accomplished. This is the thing that I've accomplished. And incidentally, that to me, by the way, isn't just more compelling. It's actually easier to connect on. I am at a disadvantage for anybody that's not 2 steps behind me. And so too is anybody teaching anything, because you can teach what's 2 steps behind you, but 3, 4, and 5, it's so far removed from my experience, from my memory, from just contextually speaking. I made all my money pre-AI. I'd have a very difficult time. If you drop me off right now today, naked and poor in 2025, I don't know if I could do it again. So go follow somebody that's actually doing it in this ecosystem without all the resources that I have available and accessible to myself. And that's a demonstrable outcome, right? It's a contextually appropriate demonstrable outcome. So if you haven't made all the millions, that's okay. Show us what it is that you have done. Hey, I'm actually getting customers right now, and most people in the industry are losing them. Number 2, the second question, ask yourself, how well do our values overlap? And you're never going to get concentric circles. If you are, then either you're a sheep or they're a liar, right? Like that's about it. But you want to get close. You want to get really close in terms of value overlap. I really love Alex Hormozi. Love his content. I think he's a brilliant human. I love the way he thinks. Our values really don't overlap. He posts those things about like, I spent 20 years never going to a friend's birthday party or wedding. Him and his wife have decided not to have children. Being a dad is the most important thing I've ever done. I love it. Like that's so integral to my life experience that I can't take Hormozi's advice wholesale. I can cherry pick some of it. I can distill some of it, slice it apart, mix it. But it's not, our values don't overlap enough for me to follow his template. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. So find people whose values align with yours, because, and I don't mean that in, necessarily the religious sense, right? Like, yeah, find people that aren't going to lie, cheat, and steal, obviously. And I really mean that, obviously, because those people exist too. But values don't just mean that. Values reference that to which you're willing to put up with or what's important to you. And so there are people that want to build businesses with massive employee bases because one of their values, I'm one of them, I want to employ people. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's why I started a staffing agency, the least scalable business in the world. But I love people, and I love people in emerging nations, and I want to help as many as I possibly can. And that kind of makes sense when you look at my story, right? Like, I was raised by a blind single mother on Social Security disability, and I'm the son of an immigrant, and I just have a heart for that. And that means that if you want to build a business without a huge workforce or all that overhead, then I'm probably not the right person to follow, because I'm actually going the other way. I'm trying to run as far and fast away from AI as I possibly can. Find somebody whose values overlap with your values. And again, I realize that you're never going to get concentric circles. So you might need a couple of people, right? And that's the other thing that I think is really important. Don't just follow one human being off a cliff. I think having a couple of different people and then triangulating what's true. What are their demonstrable outcomes? How well do our values overlap? And that make sure that you're listening to the right human beings, and then make sure that you have a handful. Don't overwhelm yourself with voices, but I'd have 2 or 3. And one of them should be, a mentor or a coach or a guide or a friend or a family member, somebody that you can bounce things off of. Because you and I have a relationship, sort of, right? Like, you watch my videos and then maybe you comment and maybe I respond. And I mean, even if you paid me for private coaching, which I'm not telling you should do, that relationship is tenuous at best. It's removed. I don't really know your situation and your context, where even somebody who hasn't done quite what I've done, but is more accomplished than you, is a couple of steps ahead, and understands you, your approach, your values, your context, immensely valuable. Best thing I ever did in my entire life was seek out mentorship and guidance. And I can tell you, mentorship usually comes in the form, it's disguised as work. You're going to get somebody who asks you for a favor or needs help, and as often as not, that somebody is really just looking for, are you willing to put in the work? So I hope this is really helpful. I think trying to figure out who we pay attention to in today's day and age is critically important. It's an endeavor that should not be ignored. You can't listen to everybody. That's for sure. Like, you cannot listen to everybody because most of them are full of it. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so aggressive with that statement. I'd like to live in a world where I believe that people are well-meaning. Even so, I see the advice new entrepreneurs are being offered, and it's wrong. It's just incorrect. It's not true. More often than not, you're a mark and it's a con job. And I actually really mean that. That's true of most business opportunities. Most business opportunities are indentured servitude in some way or the other. I'm not even talking about MLMs. A lot of franchises at this point. Anything anybody's trying to sell you. I spent 15 years of my life running ads. I got to see thousands of business models, hundreds of millions of dollars in ad spend. And what was really interesting, like course creators, and I'm not bashing course creators, but course creators know this. They know 90% of the people that buy the courses aren't going to take the course. And, on one hand, it's like, well, that's on them. I created the material and that's on them. And on the other hand, it's like, oh my goodness, there's just something about that feels difficult to contend with. And if you put your heart and soul into a course and you do everything you can to get people to take it, and you try to make it as easy as possible, and you build a community in the back end to help root them on, like, good for you. That's awesome. I'm not shaming course creators, but I don't think everybody does it. I think there's a community of people that don't want them to take the course, because then they get to sell them the next thing, the next thing, which is just repackaged and rehashed, and they don't have to spend that much time on the quality of the course. So I think we just need to be really careful with that, all of us. And if you're trying to establish thought leadership, my ask of you is tell people what your demonstrable outcomes are. Show them. Be honest. Put your cards on the table. Show me your tax returns. And articulate your values. You can't be everything to everybody, but you can be something really important to a few people if you're willing to. So that got preachy. I'm going to leave it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.